The House voted Friday on a bill to address a big problem with the Affordable Health Care Act. Canceled insurance plans. Suffice to say, the geography of this crime leaves a lot of questions. It is across the street from City Hall. And oh, by the way, the restaurant is also next door to the mayor's house. The city of Byram is getting ready for the arrival of Walmart. The retail operators announced plans to move in by 2015.
State lawmakers will look closer this week at sweetening the pot for movie makers to come to Mississippi. 1 year ago, where I'm standing right now underneath the Mississippi River Bridge in Vicksburg, the water level was way up there, about 20 feet above where I'm standing.
Scott, I've never seen such. Okay, so what in the world did he steal?
Well, I mean, he stole beer. He took beer, didn't pay for it, drank it. That's theft.
Right.
He's being held with no bond yet. They want some tests done and a mental evaluation before they move any further on this case. Tonight, police have made 2 arrests in an armed robbery in Vicksburg. That robbery happened at the River Oaks Apartments on Drummond Street last night. 16 WAPD's Hadass Brown spoke with the victim's mother about what happened. Well, those 2 men will appear in a Vicksburg courtroom Monday. Now, 8 deaths attributed to last week's polar blast. The latest is Buddy Pulliam, who slipped on the ice outside a courthouse in Laurel Thursday. He died this morning at UMC from his injuries. In Pascagoula, 60-year-old Brenda Diane Stouffer died because of hypothermia. Her body was discovered Friday at Ingalls Shipbuilding. Tonight, Jackson police are on the lookout for the suspect in an early morning shooting. It happened in the 100 block of Noel Street around 5:30. That's where police say a 35-year-old man was shot in the leg. He's expected to recover. Relatives tell us that shooting was the result of a dispute. The case remains under investigation. If you have any information, please call Crime Stoppers at 601-355-TIPS. Tonight, we are uncovering new information about a shooting that left an 18-year-old dead. It happened Friday evening on Duane Street. 16 WAPT's Andrew Kinsey has the latest details on this investigation. Today, family and friends gathered at Big Creek Missionary Baptist Church in Jackson to say their final goodbyes to a man who was shot and then set on fire. Last week, Hinds County deputies found Antonio Brockington's body inside a burned car. They say he was shot 6 times. They haven't made an arrest in the case, and they're still looking for help. Call Crime Stoppers if you can, 601-355-TIPS. Guilty, that's the verdict a Hinds County jury reached late Friday night in the deadly butt injection case. 60 WAPT's Mark Perchik was in the courtroom when her fate was decided. Happening now, neighbors in Jackson's Bel Air neighborhood are coming together after their neighbor, 67-year-old Helen Harrion, was murdered at her home last week. 16 WAPD's Hadass Brown is live there. And Hadass, what do neighbors have to say about what happened? The city of Byram is getting ready for the arrival of Walmart. The retail operators announced plans to move in by 2015. But there is some mixed reaction from those who will be in competition with the big box chain.
We're still atop the bridge that we rose in dramatic stage. Take a look over here.
It was a thundering sound as the twister moved across the Krupp area, dangerously close to our vantage point on a bridge over the Yazoo River. The sudden shove of wind, water, and lightning told us to find lower ground. Shane Kirk was under the twister that apparently skipped over his home.
It got real calm. And it really wasn't a lot of sound or nothing. It was mainly just visual. You could see it moving right along the horizon right there.
He gathered his family in a school bus he actually buried in the side of a hill by his home, a shelter built after a devastating twister that laid waste to this area 4 years ago, April 24th. Francine Cox lost her home then. She has rebuilt it, but she admits dark skies make her nervous.
Just what happened last time.
Still fresh in your mind?
Yes.
The same for Billy Monasco, just down the road.
I lost a 2-story home and a body shop that was a 50 by 100.
Now he lives in an old Katrina cottage and follows any storm threat very closely. Residents in the storm-torn region call it a tornado alley because of so many twisters that have come through here. The school district, in fact, canceled classes 1 hour early just because of storm threats.
It's like the best thing ever.
It's like seeing a unicorn.
Kids won't like making up the day, but the school district says it's taking no chances.
It's very important to us that they're safe and not on the roads. It doesn't take but just a little bit of wind to turn a bus over.
Emergency responders worry residents have seen too many warnings. Do you think people have become storm weary or storm wary?
I think we're right at the junction between both of them.
It appears, at least in Yazoo County, the storms did little or no damage. In fact, if it's done anything, it has reminded residents of the fury of Mother Nature and what it did in this county just 4 years ago. In Yazoo County, Scott Simmons, 16 WAPT News.
Yeah, no shirt, no shoes, no service. Not what this man apparently believed to be the case. He allegedly broke into the 303 Jefferson restaurant in Clinton, and police say they didn't have to go very far to catch him.
The restaurant 303 Jefferson hasn't been open long in Clinton.
It's like the police caught him in the restaurant.
But patrons were still talking about what happened Monday morning.
What did they do? Break the door? No, the window. The windows to the window.
This is what surveillance cameras captured just before 4 Monday morning. The alarms went off, the cameras were rolling.
Quite honestly, I was thinking, the worst, vandals or kids vandalizing, I was going to come into a big mess.
A shirtless, shoeless guy who was determined to get inside. In the patio, he smashes the window to the door. He grabs a fire extinguisher.
Looks like he's trying to, but I don't think he can get it to work.
Once inside the restaurant, he grabs a few beers, throws a few chairs, even posters off the wall. He had plenty of time to get in and out, but lingered around just a little too long. As he exits the back door, police are there to greet him and throw the cuffs on him.
Suffice to say, the geography of this crime leaves a lot of questions. It is across the street from City Hall. And oh, by the way, the restaurant is also next door to the mayor's house.
I would think the further away from the police station, the better off you are. But
the mayor and police are trying to get to the bottom of this break-in and learn more about the suspect, identified as 33-year-old Gordon Edward Jensen. Police charged him with commercial burglary.
My goal while I'm in office is to just let the criminals know you don't want to come here.
Police station's right there right now. Police station's where?
It is the subject of table fodder at the Clinton restaurant while police pursue the case against the suspect who didn't believe in the policy, no shirt, no shoes, no service.
Scott, I've never seen such. Okay, so what in the world did he steal?
Well, he stole beer. He took beer, didn't pay for it, drank it. That's theft.
Right.
He's being held with no bond yet. They want some tests done and a mental evaluation before they move any further on this case.
In Holmes County, these two pit bulls attacked and killed a 3-year-old child inside his own backyard. 1 week later, in Simpson County, deputies arrested a man and his girlfriend after their pit bulls mauled his 4-year-old granddaughter. 2 incidents this month that are fanning the flames of a firestorm. A new push to ban pit bulls in several communities.
You think these dogs should be banned? I think it should be banned. I get numerous calls from people about these dogs.
Aggressive dogs have been in the headlines a lot lately, like these dogs that attacked a man in Jackson.
I had my walking stick. Okay. Yep. And so like I told the law, he got lucky I didn't have my gun on me, because if I had, I'd put him down.
Police and animal control had to surround those 2 dogs just to get them under control. But in Hattiesburg at the Southern Pines Animal Shelter, they say it's unfair to just blame pit bulls for bad dog behavior.
Pretty much all the bully mixes we get are like this.
Inside, pit bull supporters are proud to show off Sophie. She's 5 years old.
Sophie, sit.
A pit bull who plays and lives with a kitten every day. Lydia Sadler is with the U.S. Humane Society. She says pit bull bans make no sense if you're trying to make a community safe from vicious dogs.
But having a breed ban is not going to accomplish that, because you can train aggression in a dog, you can neglect aggression into a dog, and it can be any type of breed.
If you just take the bite in this jacket, then you're probably not going to fall to the ground.
Okay, that'd be fun. Whatever y'all think.
Case in point, I suited up to see the impact of a Ridgeland police Belgian Malinois attack. The city of Ridgeland has an aggressive breed ban, but the Malinois isn't on that list. The dog is called Cannon, and he is a highly trained animal, and I had no idea how hard that 90-pound dog could hit.
Born fit rascal, aren't you? Eat your Wheaties, don't you, brother?
He hit like a ton of bricks the first time. The second time, I was a little more prepared.
Man, you're strong. Yeah, I'm impressed.
Even through a heavily padded jacket, Cannon left me a nice bruise to remember him by.
That is a strong dog, man. Yes, officer. Whatever you say.
His handler says Cannon does what he does because he's trained to.
It only takes three things to train anything, any animal, and that's timing, association, and repetition.
But experts claim the pit bull is unusually aggressive, prone to surprise behavior, and capable of massive damage because of its jaw strength. In Ridgeland, the dog ban covers a wide definition of pit bulls because many pit bulls are a mix of some form of terrier. Since the ban went into effect in 2009, Ridgeland hasn't had a reported dog attack.
Our animal control department is aggressive in investigating those, and we have had instances where we've had to have dogs removed or ultimately put down.
But the dogs fell outside the confines of, say, an aggressive breed.
Yes, that's correct.
The Mississippi Animal Rescue League says it supports the idea of a measure that covers a wider definition of an aggressive dog. They contend any mixed breed can be just as dangerous depending on the circumstances. Yet at the same time, they won't adopt out pit bulls because of the risk. The shelter puts down as many as 600 a year, arguing that the animal has an unpredictable aggression.
Thank you very much. Good dog. It's all business, isn't it, bro?
Cannon does what he does because he's trained to. There is still a debate over pit bulls and whether they attack because of their breed or because of the way they are treated. Scott Simmons, 16 WAPT News.
I'll set it for you.
At the Sardis Grocery, it seems everyone has a tale about the fish that will fly through the air.
Yeah, fell in the boat. Matter of fact, he hit my left leg when he hit, scared the devil out of him.
Some have horror stories.
There's a man from Holly Bluff. He was fishing and had one jump in his face and break his nose.
They are not tall fishing tales. This is Lake George in Yazoo County. These are Asian carp, and they have become the #1 invasive species problem for waterways. Electrical leads in the water can stir them up, but so too the simple hum of an engine. It is a dangerous dance above the water by fish that can reach between 30 and 100 pounds. Jonathan Lucas with Wildlife and Fisheries says he's had too many close calls.
Because people have been killed by these fish. I mean, you take a 40-pound fish, you run in a boat, and it hits you. It's like being hit with a cannonball.
Years ago, they started introducing these carp into aquaculture facilities, fish farms. The idea is they would eat the plankton and keep the ponds clean. The problem occurred, though, when they had big floods. The waters of those ponds pushed into the river and the carp got out.
They move around in schools. So
what is believed to have started in the Arkansas area in the 70s has exploded. The fish feed on plankton and plant life. You can't catch them with a fishing pole, so they thrive. Each time there is a major flood, like in 2010, more of them are pushed into waterways like Oxbow Lakes.
It's always a bad thing to have a species, an exotic species, because it competes with your native fish, or any, whether it's vegetation, animals, or fish. And the problem could be that they're eating the same food that your native fish need to eat.
The problem has reached from the Gulf to the Midwest. In fact, the Army Corps of Engineers is now implementing electric barriers to try and keep the carp from crossing the Chicago waterways into the Great Lakes.
These fish are the #1 invasive species in the world, according to Times Magazine.
Dr. Jack Kilgore is a research fishery biologist. He is investigating the carp dilemma at the Engineer Research and Development Center in Vicksburg. He is also studying how these electrical barriers can best keep the carp from crossing into the Great Lakes and other waterways. It won't work here.
You couldn't create an electric barrier in the Mississippi River. It's just too wide, and it just wouldn't work in that type of environment.
But the carp are threatening local species like paddlefish as they battle the carp for food. The best hope is that local fishermen will start using nets to catch them.
The commercial fishermen can put a dent in their population, there's no doubt about it.
We just have to inspire them.
We have to inspire them.
There is a thriving market for carp in Asia, but not yet in the U.S. Fishermen say it's hard to make a living net catching, processing, and shipping them. Researchers are hoping that will change as the carp population continues to push south towards New Orleans and threaten more waterways and habitat. Scott Simmons, 16 WAPT News.